the people who possess them. When you might be making them yourself, you little fool. Don't glare at me like that. I tell you that those pictures are the real expression of you. That's why you turn to them as relief from the shop grind. You can't help doing them. They're you. I can stop if I want to. They amuse me, that's all. You can't stop. It's in your blood. It's the Jew in you. The Here, I'll show you. I won't do another sketch for a year. I'll prove to you that my ancestors' religion doesn't influence my work or my play. Dear, you can't prove that, because the contrary has been proven long ago. You yourself proved it when you did that sketch of the old fish vendor in the ghetto, the one with the beard. It took 1,000 years of suffering and persecution and faith to stamp that look on his face, and it took 1,000 years to breed in you the genius to see it and put it down on paper. Fan, did you ever read Fishberg's book? No, said Fanny, low-voiced. Sometime, when you can snatch a moment from the fascinations of the mail-order catalog, read it. Fishberg says, I wish I could remember his exact words, it isn't the body that marks the Jew, it's his soul. The type is not anthropological or physical, it's social or psychic. It isn't the complexion, the nose, the lips, the head. It's his soul which betrays his faith. Centuries of ghetto confinement, ostracism, ceaseless suffering have produced a psychic type. The thing that is stamped on the soul seeps through the veins and works its way magically to the face. But I don't want to talk about souls. Please. You're spoiling a wonderful day. And you're spoiling a wonderful life. I don't object to this driving ambition in you. I don't say that you're wrong in wanting to make a place for yourself in the world. But don't expect me to stand by and let you trample over your own immortal soul to get there. Your head is busy enough on this infant's wear job. But how about the rest of you? How about you? What do you suppose all those years of work and suppression and self-denial and beauty hunger there in Winnebago were meant for? Not to develop the mail order business. They were given you so that you might recognize hunger and suppression and self-denial in others. The light in the face of that girl in the crowd pouring out of the plant. What's that but the reflection of the light in you? I tell you, Fanny, we Jews have got a money-grubbing, loud-talking, diamond-studded, get-there-at-any-price reputation, and perhaps we deserve it. But every now and then, out of the mass of us, one lifts his head and stands erect, and the great white light is in his face. And that person has suffered, for suffering breeds genius. It expands the soul, just as over-prosperity shrivels it. You see it all the way from Lou Fields to Sarah Bernhardt, from Mendelssohn to Irving Berlin, from Mishka Elman to Charlie Chaplin. You were a person set apart in Winnebago. Instead of thanking your God for that, you set out to be something you aren't. No, it's worse than that. You're trying not to be what you are, and it's going to do for you. Stop, cried Fanny. My head's whirling. It sounds like something out of Alice in Wonderland. And you, retorted Hale, sound like someone who's afraid to talk or think about herself. You're suppressing the thing that is you. You're cutting yourself off from your own people, a dramatic, impulsive, emotional people. By doing those things, you're killing the goose that lays the golden egg. What's that old copybook line? To thine own self be true, and the rest of it? Yes, like Theodore, for example, sneered Fanny. At which unpleasant point, nature kindly supplied a diversion. Across the black sky there shot two luminous shafts of lights. Northern lights, pale sisters of the chromatic glory one sees in the far north, but still weirdly beautiful. Fanny and Hale stopped short, faces upturned. The ghostly radiance wavered, expanded, glowed palely, like celestial searchlights. Suddenly, from the tip of each shaft, there burst a cluster of slender, pinpoint lines, like aigrettes set in a band of silver. Then these slowly wavered, faded, combined to form a third and fourth slender shaft of light. It was like the radiance one sees in the old pictures of the Holy Family. Together, Fanny and Hale watched it in silence, until the last glimmer faded and was gone, and only the brazen lights of Gary, far, far down the beach, cast a fiery glow against the sky. They sighed simultaneously. Then they laughed, each at the other. "Curtain," said Fanny. They raced for the station, despite the sand. Their car was filled with pudgy babies lying limp in parental arms, with lunch baskets exuding the sickly scent of bananas, with disheveled vandals whose moist palms grasped bunches of wilted wildflowers. Past the belching chimneys of Gary, through South Chicago, the backyard of a metropolis, past Jackson Park that breathed coolly upon them, and so to the city again. They looked at it with the shock that comes to eyes that have rested for hours on long stretches of sand and sky and water. Monday, that had seemed so far away, became an actuality of tomorrow. Tired as they were, they stopped at one of those frank little restaurants that brighten Chicago's drab side streets. Its windows were full of pans that held baked beans, all crusty and brown, and falsely tempting, and of baked apples swimming in a pool of syrup. These flanked by ketchup bottles and geometrical pyramids of golden grapefruit. Coffee and hot roast beef sandwiches, of course, in a place like that. And, added Fanny, one of those baked apples, just to prove they can't be as good as they look. They weren't, but she was too hungry to care. Not too hungry, though, to note with quick eye all that the little restaurant held of interest, nor too sleepy to respond to the friendly waitress who, seeing their dusty boots and the sprig of sumac stuck in Fanny's coat, said, "My, it must have been swell in the country today," as her flapping napkin precipitated crumbs into their laps. "It was," said Fanny, and smiled up at the girl with her generous, flashing smile. "Here's a bit of it I brought back for you." And she stuck the scarlet sumac sprig into the belt of the white apron. They finished the day incongruously by taking a taxi home, Fanny yawning luxuriously all the way. "Do you know," she said as they parted, "we've talked about everything from souls to infants' wear. We're talked out. It's a mercy you're going to New York. There won't be a next time." "Young woman," said Heyl, forcefully, "there will. That young devil in the red tam isn't dead. She's alive and kicking. There's a kick in every one of those Chicago sketches in your portfolio upstairs. You said she wouldn't fight anybody's battles today. You little idiot. She's fighting one in each of those pictures, from the one showing that girl's face in the crowd to the old chap with the fish stall. She'll never die, that one, because she's the spirit. It's the other one who's dead, and she doesn't know it. But some day she'll find herself buried, and I want to be there to shovel on the dirt." End of chapter 11.